Hello children, welcome back to the session of biology. In our previous session of biology, we had discussed about the natural resources, in which we had talked about the biotic and the abiotic components in the nature. And we also saw the interaction between the biotic and the abiotic components. We discussed about the different biogeochemical processes or the cycles. We talked about the nitrogen cycle, the oxygen cycle, the water cycle and the carbon cycle. Now we will see all these cycles at a glance one by one so that you can get a clear idea about the cycles in the nature. Now let's start with the nitrogen cycle. Now when we talk about nitrogen, we know that nitrogen is one of the elements that is present in the atmosphere. So that gas constitutes of 78% in the atmosphere. Now how is it found in nature? It is found in nature in the free form, but we cannot use it in its free form. So it is used in the production of or the synthesis of proteins, nucleic acids like RNA and DNA, and even in some complex substances like alkaloids and urea. Now, how good it would be if we would be able to use that free nitrogen directly from the atmosphere. But it's not possible. So, what needs to be done? There are certain kinds of bacteria which helps in fixing of nitrogen. Now, how do they fix this nitrogen? There are various ways by which this nitrogen can be fixed. When we talk about plants, there is a natural process by which the nodules that are present in the roots, which are known as the root nodules. Now these root nodules help to fix this nitrogen in the soil. Now when this nitrogen is fixed in the soil, then it is passed to the plants and the plants utilize it. And by this way, the green plants, they convert this nitrogen into complex substances like nitrites and nitrates. Now these nitrates and nitrites are made by the process of the ammonification. So ammonification is a process in which the nitrogen is converted or it is synthesized into ammonia, and this ammonia further helps to make complex substances like nitrites and nitrates, which can be consumed by the animals. Now how do the animals use this nitrates and nitrites? Actually, the ammonia that is used, it is used in the manufacturing or the synthesis of proteins. So these proteins and these nucleic acids are used by animals. So we directly don't use it, we use it in the form of this complex substances. Okay, now there is another method. It's a natural process, and that is lightning. Now you might have observed lightning. Lightning actually is a natural process. Now when lightning takes place, because of this lightning, the free nitrogen that is present in the air, it gets fixed into the soil. So that is again another process which helps in the fixing of nitrogen into the soil. Now what happens during the process of nitrification? Nitrification is a process by which the fixation of the nitrogen takes place with the help of atmospheric and industrial fixation. So again it is a synthetic process. It's not a natural process, but it is a synthetic process through which the nitrogen is fixed in order to form the nitrates and nitrites. Now when this nitrification takes place, substances, they mix with the soil, and again this nitrogen is converted or just released in the atmosphere for further use. So this continuous process of conversion of nitrogen into nitrates and nitrites for the use of animals and plants, and again with the help of the denitrification, where these nitrates and nitrites gets converted into nitrogen into the atmosphere. This whole process is termed as the nitrogen cycle. So in short we can say that नाइट्रोजन जो हमें एटमॉस्फेयर से मिलता है वो हम डायरेक्टली नहीं यूज कर सकते, उसके लिए कोई प्रोसेसेस जरूरी है फॉर द प्लांट्स एंड फॉर द एनिमल्स. तो प्लांट्स और एनिमल्स दोनों को नाइट्रोजन यूज करना है, उसे यूज करने के लिए ये सारी प्रोसेसेस. सो यू मस्ट रिमेंबर द terms like nitrification, ammonification and denitrification. So these are the terms that you need to remember and what happens during that. So this all when you come to know, then you will understand the nitrogen cycle in a better way. I hope you have understood clearly about what is nitrogen cycle and what is the use of these processes. Hope you have understood it well. Thank you.